Is air supremacy useful? So I was playing the Saipan when it was asked about, hey, is air supremacy useful? So if we look at the regen times on basically the Saipan, easy numbers, it's going to be 115 seconds, 140, and 130. So let's just 115, 140, 130. So this is per plane. 5% off that, you know, shrinks it down to say 111. What's the next one? 135 and 128. I could have these numbers wrong, I'm sure I do on this one, but it's just rather than equipping the captain and unequipping the captain, whatever. So the real question is, does this 4 seconds mean anything? Is this 4 seconds gonna net us another plane, you know, over the course of a 20-minute match? So in general, minus 5% regen would mean you're getting 1 additional plane per match, and that's assuming you're regenning the entire match for 20 minutes. However, what we can do is extrapolate and say 115 seconds, then the next is 230 seconds, then the next is 345, then the next is 460, then the next is 575. That would be about 10 minutes, as opposed to, for the next one, it just doesn't want to go forward. Rawr. Well, whatever. We'll just do a new one. The next one's going to be 111, 222, 333, 444, 555. So if we think about this in terms of rocket planes, the first plane gets replenished 111 seconds into the match. So we've saved 4 seconds before we had another plane available to us. The next plane, 222, 8 seconds earlier. Next one, 12 seconds earlier. Next one, 16. Next one, 20 seconds earlier. So this means that after almost 10 minutes into the match, so this is about 9.5 minutes, give or take, we have 1 additional rocket plane available 20 seconds earlier. So if we start out, we take our 6 rocket planes, we go forward, and we pre-drop, 2 of them go home, and then we lose 4. Those are down. So we had 9 that we buffed up to 11 with flight control mod. We just lost 4. That goes down to 7. We go out, we strike again, same thing. We go off with 6, we send 2 home, and we end up losing another 4 because that's just what happens with the Saipan. This now goes down to 3. So we're going to gain, by this point, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 planes in total that we're going to get back. This would theoretically bring us back up to 8, which means we'd have 1 additional strike doing the same thing, sending 2 home, and then losing another 4 would bring us down to 4. 20 seconds earlier, we would be back up to 4, which would theoretically be the difference between making a normal attack and having only 3 planes to make an attack until 20 seconds pass by at the 9.5 second mark. Is this a huge difference? No, but it's a 1-point commander talent. It's not supposed to be a huge difference. It's something that just kind of adds up over the course of the game. So what this doesn't necessarily mean that you have more planes in general. It's like, you know, God is good and the bounty is plenty or whatever. But it means that you could have this, but instead you're stuck with this for an additional 20 seconds or an additional 10 seconds or an additional 40 seconds, depending on where in the regen cycle something is. So over time, it's progressively going to push forward the replenishment of the resources you're losing to make them more available to you more in the mid game. And certainly in the late game, I guess, but the mid game is really more where you're going to start feeling, okay, I've lost half of my resources of this. I lost a lot of these resources early going for something kind of tough. Well, they're starting to come back, and they come back a little bit quicker. That's really the way to look at it, as opposed to like, well, I get, you know, 3 extra planes. You don't. You might get 1 additional plane, but what you do get is a faster paced release of the resources that you have banked coming into you for use mid-match.